see if things working. It looks like... It smells like computer. Oh. It is computer. It's working. Hello, you all on YouTubes or in-betweens. My name is Maximo, host of HellCrashers. Also, sad episode, but not sad episode, but good sad episode, yes.
Yes,
I will let the
welcome
Inquisitor do the introductions.
Thank you. Welcome everybody to the finale, the epilogue of HellCrashers. First of all, let me just say, everybody, it's been a pleasure running this campaign with all of you. And also, I extend these thanks to the players who are no longer in the lineup.
We do miss David.
Both David and Al Sarcasm, because I don't remember his first name.
I don't remember.
Austin, right?
Oh, him. Oh,
Yeah.
He ran away. Yeah, he a coward.
No, he was doing other stuff with the Inquisition. Thank you for your participation, as well as those present. And I will proceed to let everybody do their introductions for one last time before I take over the narration. By all means, let's begin with Maximo.
Hello, I am Maximo. As I know, I am Maximo, also played by Big Mek Plays, or Bogarts the Mad Mek, VTuber extraordinaire. That's it for the moment. Stay tuned.
Next up, we have Art of War.
Greetings, this is Art of War, giving you, for the last time, the lovely voice of Lucas, the Krieger, who's going to be trying to hold back from murdering a specific psyker. Alright, Matchstick, your turn.
God damn it, you gave me so much restraint. I needed not to make a funny joke about the Krieger. But yeah, I was Crazy Pet, and I'm giving the voice of Muldoon. Hope you enjoyed it, and yeah.
And last but not least, we have Docs404.
Hello everyone, this is Dr. Loon. I play for Docs404. And keep it together, Muldoon. And it's
Die on us.
also
We need you alive for reasons.
Tax reasons.
Yes,
Now,
right reasons, yes.
let me do a quick narration. Our story began basically almost a year ago in the setting, and a couple of years ago out of it, with the HellCrashers, who was at the time known as... Let's see if I can remember the name of the squad before anyone else does. Yes, Psi 3315.
Actually, it's in my character sheet still.
Excellent. Working for the Inquisition. In their journey, they worked alongside many interrogators, one of whom ended up becoming their mortal enemy, Interrogator Harrow, who proved to be Harrow the Ninefold Prince, a champion of Zinj at the time. Through their journey, they experienced many ups and downs. Many were lost, and many were gained. And in the end of their tale, they found themselves facing off against their nemesis, now obtained his true form. The Demon Prince Harrow was a threat to behold. With powers unmatched, he seemed almost invincible for a second. But then, it was by the will of one final critical hit from Lucas Viker that the Psyker was brought low. And even though that final hit may have only stopped his form for a time, the pain and the resonance of him trying to withstand the heat did enough of a distraction for dogs to finish the job by using the obsidian elixir that they had concocted in order to rob Harrow of his powers. Being robbed of his powers in the form he was in threatened not only to destroy his psychic abilities, but also his soul, as Harrow was left a blank, devoid of any psychic manifestation, or a soul for that matter, as I mentioned. Now, with the defeated Psyker on the knees of a ruined hall, accepting his fate at last as he has now forever lost, we return to the scene where we see 4 heroes of the Imperium standing before their mortal enemy.
So, how are we going to do this? Limb by limb? Piece by piece? Or just one and done? Or just send him to the vaults? Or, yeah, box. Put him into the box. The good old lead box.
Well, he's not really a psyker anymore.
He can still have the fun of being stuck on a lead box. You don't need to be psyker, yes?
True.
As this conversation is going on,
Never knew anyone who enjoyed themselves being in a blood box.
Lucas, I assume you reach for the handgun.
I'm trying my best not to.
Oh, this is entirely up to you guys.
Oh, does he have to do a willpower test of DN4?
No. This is, let's say, a player side willpower test.
So,
Not really.
Lucas,
It's more of a choice.
makes you have enough
So-
dice.
Lucas, you check the chamber just in case. That one around is still there. And right now, Harrow is nothing more than a little human.
I think he's less than a little human. He's a tiny one. Look at him, he's on the floor.
Wait, is he making himself taller with psychic powers?
No, because I'm Maximal. I'm big. I'm an ogre.
No, not you, Harrow.
Oh, I don't know. We can always put him in the stretcher.
Okay, so, just to lay down the options here. Harrow looks up at the 4 of you, and he makes contact with Lucas's lenses. Despite him being robbed of his power, he still pierces through you, much like when he held that gun against you. He then casts his gaze to the rest of you, but you can tell he's talking very specifically when he says, "What are you all waiting for? You have what you want. Revenge, isn't it?"
No.
To be
I am
honest,
fairly certain that even without my powers, I can still see the hearts of men. And I know that if this is where my road ends, I know exactly how it will happen. There is no need for the warp's divination for me to foresee this future.
Lucas,
You
do you have contact to any other Inquisitionals? I heard there was other Ordos, yes?
Lucas is gonna try the Vox, see if he can get through to anyone.
Right now, it doesn't really appear to be. It's just the 5 of you now.
No way to can't get through to anyone.
I assume we are still in
We
the Stygian
should
place.
send him to the Ordo Heritokus so they can keep him onto a pole or something. Keep him alive to repent.
Oh, please. You think the ones I've already manipulated so well to my schemes are going to keep me cast down forever? We all
Shut
know
up.
how this ends. We all know how it ends.
I
Just
said
like
quiet.
she did.
Maximo just slaps him in the
With
face.
pain. As you slap him, the radar smashes against the back of your hand, revealing for the first time his utterly bare face. And you see, as blood begins to trickle out of his mouth and nose, he chuckles to himself. We all know how this ends, Maximo.
All right, I'm
Same
getting the sock.
as her.
Maximo takes off his boots and starts taking his sock off.
I'm getting the sock.
I will ask for some maturity.
What do you mean? He's gonna stuff his sock in his mouth. It's
You can
mature
still
as
bite your
possible.
fingers off. And also, I would not attempt that against the BBC.
He's already defeated. Let's see immediately in further.
Hmm. But
Yes,
I
all his
know that-
monologuing is just not.
Well, just let me get through it. But
He's still
I
getting the
know
sock, though.
that even if the Ogryn doesn't have what it takes, the strength of character to take vengeance, he points at you, Lucas, you cannot forget, can you? The way David's cold eyes looked at you, the way I snapped every little synapse going on in that little jar head of his. Or perhaps we should talk about the other interrogator. The one who thought having a psyker and a Lex mechanic would earn him an advantage in conspiracies.
Okay,
You-
probably shouldn't get his eyes just so he can see. For funsies.
Lucas,
I have already seen what I have to see.
Yes, yes.
You are all going down with me here. I mean, look at you. You have no hope. You are just rejects.
Well, even if you do not have hope, and it's hopeless, there is still hope in hopelessness. And if we rearrange the letters around, it spells peace loss. Oh wait, that part was unnecessary. I'm sorry.
Lucas. Last time I stayed you from taking the shot. As of this moment, our objective has been completed. Whatever
Okay.
happens after this doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of our mission. And for Haro, for my part, it was not part of revenge against you, just following orders and completing our task.
Duty above most.
To be honest, you do you, Lucas, but I'm just going to say that if you keep him alive, he's going to regret it much, much, much more.
Yeah, the order Harry took us.
Or just on a black
They
sheet.
can use blanks, yes? Or do they need both cells?
Well, not this one. Probably.
Anyways, Muldoon, yes. Do you know way out of here? There is door, but I don't know.
Look around and open the magical fourth door.
You do see the door that led you here.
Oh, good. Well,
Is there still noise coming from outside?
You can't really hear anything. It's uncertain whether the battle has died down or whether everyone is dead.
But yeah, it looks like we have a door where we came in.
So we can bind him and take him with us. And let the eye determine his fate.
But at least for morale, it would be definitely good to see the head of the cult defeated and all.
I don't know.
So,
All I know is what I need to do.
to pose the question now that everybody's been thinking about, as Harrow stands there, silent, with a defeated stare, but a smirking smile, I am going to leave you guys to consider whether we're taking him in alive or dead.
Well, Maximo suggests taking him alive, either giving him to the Ike or the Ordo Hereticus.
It's probably gonna be the eye.
Definitely
When
the
the throne hunts you, the throne hunts you.
So, Maximo's suggestion is send him to the Eye,
Mm-hmm.
so you can have a
What
hero
about
in
the
your
rest?
eye.
I was
Yeah,
going with
we're-
that too.
I already put out that
what I
Dux
was
doesn't
saying.
really care at the moment.
Because
The mission's
Maximo
done,
doesn't
but-
understand the concept of revengeance.
But, like I said, Lucas do Lucas.
Well, Lucas is
I
a
guess
masker.
this brings us to the man with a gun.
We all have guns. He just has the one specific.
He has Chekhov's gun.
Oh yeah, that is true. I gotta use it one way or another.
I still want to claim Harrow's face mask as a trophy. A trinket.
You might take his Borkin Arboretor as a trophy.
Yes.
Oh no, Maximo is becoming a masker.
I have now become Harrow. The pain of existence. No one cared until I put on the mask.
And you're doing a terrible impression of him. Just
I am
walking
no
in.
longer Harrow. I am now Bane.
Lucas is contemplating this. Despite his silence, he is running essentially running the numbers in his head, thinking what the biggest benefit would be. But then he comes to a conclusion. One he thinks would be fitting for Harrow. But first he turns to Dux and simply asks, "How good are you patching up extreme wounds?"
From all my work of working with servitors and adding augments to many others, I am well versed with dealing with bodily mutilations.
Knowing
Oh,
this now, his decision is clear.
So
Lucas walks up to Harrow.
He looks up at you with a smile.
"You want me to kill you. Because deep down you know it's the only way you will ever see your way out. But I'm not going to let that happen. But I also don't want you to run that mouth ever again." As he takes the gun, puts it up to the side of Harrow's jaw, and performs a Robespierre on him.
Ooh.
Oh, I see.
He blows Harrow's jaw clean off. with one shot.
So, no sock?
No.
Not necessary now.
Oh, okay.
So,
I just wanted
I
to give him
will
the Nurgle's blessing.
I will say that the only way I can describe what comes next is that gargled screams fill the hall.
We see worst. So,
I then turn. Lucas then turns to Docs. Keep him alive. Let the Emperor sort out his fate. As he then throws the gun off to the side of the room, never to be picked up again.
I thought you would probably be wise to put that in a lead box somewhere. Okay.
Acknowledge.
Maximus shrugs at this situation. He's like, so he will put his sock and boot back on. It's like,
I guess Docs will try to keep Haro stable for the moment.
Alright?
anesthetics and foam spray, and just say, just like Muldoon uses psychic fire to cauterize the wound.
So, Medicaid.
I don't know how easy manifesting psychic fire would be around a blank.
probably, yeah.
But you can always heat up a little piece of metal a little distance away, and we can just come in and just touch it against them.
With a 5, because what you're trying to do is something kind of difficult. You know.
Well, it's just a memorable injury. Escalated. Broken jaw.
Extremely escalated, blown off jaw.
It's broken.
Should I wrath and add more
No,
to that?
no, you don't need to wrath. I will say this. He's not going to die. But
He's not gonna talk
even to the best of your abilities, he's going to wish he did.
How do we remember
Well, the plan was to only stabilize him. Wasn't
Yep.
going to help him out after that.
this?
Too much.
Also, he can't run his mouth anymore, which is,
What mouth?
I guess Lucas got his wish granted.
So boastful he was. How the mighty has fallen and reduced to a jealous man.
Indeed.
He was a full mouthful. He got a full mouthful. Anyways.
He was many things.
With any type of equipment I have, I'll use it to bind up Haro and tie him up in a cradle, binding his legs and feet and arms too.
Oh, you don't have to. He will come along.
Oh, if I don't have to carry him by the scruff of his neck like a cat.
No, you can haul him along.
Okay, I pull him by his hair. Wait, he's bald.
You just put a hand around on his shoulder, like, make sure he can't run.
Mm-hmm. And remember, Lucas added an extra round to it, so don't attempt to run. Or you'll take your foot.
As the 5 of you, technically, begin to head out of the ruined estate, you see an iridescent figure standing by the doorway leading to the outside.
Is it one of those burning Astartes again?
No, it's essentially, the best way I can put it, it looks like an apparition of light standing on the side of the doorframe.
Muldoon, stop leading a pack. You're blinding me.
That's not me.
Oh, you're behind me. And what's that?
I don't know.
My mustache is tingling. I don't know if it's a good feeling, though. Dogs,
I want
what you gonna
everybody to
see?
I want everyone to make me a DN12 scholar test.
Jesus.
I don't think I'll be able to handle that.
I don't think you will be able to handle it either.
Can I help out
Nope.
dogs with the skull?
I want everyone to do their own, so...
Ooh.
Alright. So, scholar. Bam.
Maximo got a 4 on a glory.
7.
Not enough to count, though.
Close, but
And the glory.
I could have made it if I had one
At
more
least
dice.
we are
None
getting
of you-
glories.
None of you are versed enough in the obscure ways that warp or the Empyrean works to understand what you see before you. All that you know is that a luminescent figure that
We got
that
more
lu-
warpy manifestations.
a luminescent figure that looks to have the shape of an old enhanced priest approaches you, and as it stands before you, the figure straightens as its features become less apparent, like a phantom. And standing before you, this figure says, "And so you have returned. You who threaded the path between realities and emerged unscathed. You who went in the deepest and furthest of the Changer's realm. You now come back to me. You now return to the light." The figure turns its head towards Haru, who appears to be entirely confused as to what's happening because a blank he cannot see this. Muldoon would know that, I guess.
Oh. I thought we would be affected by the blankness as well due to the radius.
He cannot speak, he cannot see this. His eyes just look confused around to realize what's going on. This one has been steered from the path far too long. He committed treachery like no other, and yet so many like him exist. It is sad that the most glorious of species has fallen thus far. But you have proven upon this day that there is hope for humanity. Even in the bleakest hours, in the darkest clutches of chaos, you persevered. You came before the agents of the so-called throne as rejects, and yet here you stand, in mine eyes redeemed. You may cross the threshold beyond us, and return to what you know. But you have served humanity well. And the apparition stands aside, extending a hand towards the gate, as if to urge you on.
Maximo turns to Muldoon. Do we trust it? Or is it one of another tricksty?
To be honest, I think he could kill us if he wanted to.
They can try.
That's true.
Because we survived that, the big pretty thingy back there. So, Docs, do we trust it?
at this point, it's not hindering us of moving forward. So I would suggest we will do so. Unless
I
otherwise.
hope your calculations are correct. Knowing the whole situation of all these warp manifestations, everything, everywhere, Maximo's having a hard time trusting these things.
I don't blame you.
So he's trying to look at the guidance of the one who's a psyker who knows the stuff better, or the logistics manager who knows how to calculate odds.
Well, we fought enough today, I think, so I think we can trust it. At least it's letting us go.
Oh, okay. Then I guess we go then. Stick close. We don't want to lose each other.
As you cross the threshold of the door, you're all immediately blinded by the sudden surge of light before you.
Ugh, ugh, my eyes.
As the rays of the sun of this world fall upon you, you are past the threshold of Haru's essential castle. And as you regain your vision, you have noticed that a miracle has taken place. As you have been cured of all your mutations and purged of your corruption,
I'm calling.
So Maximo is no longer corpulent and have a hard time seeing in sunlight.
absolutely not.
I'm no
Where
longer fat.
are my wings?
I'm no longer fat.
Muldoon, as you return to your more normal, let's say,
Boring
form,
life.
you suddenly feel a colossal psychic presence behind you.
No, Maximo's in front of Muldoon, not behind him.
I said psychic presence.
Well, Maximo could have developed.
No recorded
Just
psychers.
Massive psyker behind you. You mean an ogre? Yes. No, actually not.
So, Muldoon, do
Well,
you
I
turn?
was-
Do you
yeah,
turn to
I-
look at the source?
Yeah, definitely.
As you turn and look at the radiant figure, it fades away. But as it does so, your mind is assailed with the image of elites, a living visage of death. One burning red eye, and thousands upon billions of souls, soaring to the light behind him. For a moment, you are overwhelmed and you are short of breath. And in that moment, as it comes, it
They
goes.
explode. I don't explode? Okay,
No.
good.
It's just in the same moment it comes and gives you the sort of breath feeling, it is gone.
Okay.
It's just like someone rubbing a finger up your spine. It just gives you the chills. Just like, ugh.
More like somebody stabbing a knife in your lungs, but yes, kind of similar.
Oh, that's even worse.
So same thing
It's
I
like a
did
sudden
with
case of
Haro
drywall.
with the needle.
Or if they're being plucked.
So yeah, that's all
He
you
no longer
sense,
has those
Muldoon.
flesh wings.
And as the four of you emerge, you gaze upon the courtyard where you see countless dead. The Titan fallen, tanks destroyed and bunkers razed to the ground. Artillery in the back lines that can be seen through the holes of the wall, lying as a burning pile of rubble. And yet in all that, you notice the sisters of, if I remember correctly, it was the Ibn Chalice?
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
The sisters of the Ibn Chalice tending to the wounded, as Lord Commander...
Ford.
Ford.
yes, Lord Commander Ford. Lord General Ford, there we go.
Yeah.
As Lord General Ford is getting his arm patched up once again, and yelling at the field medic for putting too many bandages on him. He's like, "These preposterous. How am I supposed to wield my fist with this amount of medication and bandage on my arm? So you're not supposed to be wielding your fist for a while yet." Nonsense. There is. He turns to the door and looks at all of you. Oh,
Lord General, good seeing you. Good.
oh, you have returned.
Yes, we survived. It is hard to defeat Maximo.
Maximo just puts his pats his hand with his fist, or chest with his fist.
He looks at the pathetic, bald man next to you,
They're missing
And
a
look at-
jaw.
and he says, "Harrow, I presume."
Mm-hmm. We reaped that thing out its heart out. Him, technically. We ripped it out of him.
Well, I guess he was a big talker, wasn't he?
Mm. So, on question, does the Questor lives Atlas?
Well, he's heavily injured, and he almost went down with his knight, but he will live.
Good to hear. See, docs, his knight will walk again soon. I believe your course will actually help with that, yes?
Possibly. We'll take some time to do repairs and
It was only a little bit less than about half an hour ago that we actually emerged into the materium again. Apparently, the world existed both here and somewhere else for a time.
What we figured out was that little mansion thing that got blown up was a ritual. And when that happened, resulted into big warpy portal turning planet into portal. Not good though. I suggested otherwise, but it happened anyways.
Well, some member of the administration, he does a little gesture with his hand, Inquisition stuff. Came by on a rogue trader's vessel and brought us aid.
Ooh. Which one?
Yes.
Did he wear a fancy hat with a feather?
I've seen you've met.
Hmm.
Yes, the rogue trader and
Austin.
his men.
Yes.
I did not ask the name.
Oh.
He raises his hand and then just immediately groans and puts it back down.
You might
What
need to
is
rest
it?
that. You'll need to heal.
Indeed, but keeping me out of combat is like keeping an ogre away from a ripper gun. Not easy to do.
Well, I don't have my Ripper gun. I have the heavy bolter.
Well, you're not exactly the standard ogre.
No, I'm Maximo.
In fact, none of your standard is, I'll tell you that much.
Although it did say how was special.
He looks at Lucas. No new medics, I see. Not
Well,
this time.
none you could see.
I wish it didn't have to come to that, but yes.
Very well. Well, the rogue trader and his voidsman went plundering the planet for anything they could find. Part of being held by a rogue trader is being robbed by one.
is
And,
Vox communication back online here?
oh yes. But also... Well, remember that bunker you infiltrated? You should probably go there. There's an investigation going on that might require your expertise.
Oh,
He gives you a nod, speaking in code.
Understood. We will investigate that.
And thank you for the help.
You're welcome. We do what we must.
For the Emperor.
For the Emperor. The Great Golden Mustache.
Malcolm is just smirking when you say, when the general said that for the emperor, like, he doesn't, you don't even know how much.
But you have no idea.
General Ford actually has a mustache, right?
Yeah.
Is it well kempt or not?
Yes.
Or, okay.
Well, right now it's not, but usually.
Maximo will offer his grooming kit and fix his mustache for him.
Well, thank you. I will
With his
have
my invaluable grades, he's just like delicately just doing with his mustache, and even uses mustache wax oil and just there we go, nice and presentable. And Maximo will stand
Well-
behind and just do a Vistorian salute to him.
Well, if you ever want a position at a Lord General's retinue, do let me know. Most of my previous bodyguards are probably dead by now.
Mhm.
And where I shouldn't keep you? You have important business to attend to.
Of course, we have to send this one to an important place.
Indeed. And I assume you head to the bunker.
Mhm.
The four of you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, five of you again. I have to get used
Will
to
we
that.
have a plot twist where we see Airline alive and just like you?
Nope, she is dead.
As you enter the bunker, wishing that you could see Ireland alive, passing by all of the wounded and
We have a
dead.
plot twist.
You see her, but it was just an apparition.
I don't even have any rat points.
Instead of your favorite interrogator, you
have
instead find a tall, black figure, cloaked and menacing, talking to another familiar figure. As you
Lock.
see your first interrogator, actually.
Lock!
Interrogator Locke.
It's him. That guy. His face is just like,
Oh no, it's him again.
Yep, let me just show everyone what Interrogator Locke looks like.
so Maximo was just like,
Inquisitor Locke, how's shooting the frog skull?
Well, if it's a Maximo, old chap. My
You look
apologies,
like
sir.
you haven't changed a bit.
He immediately apologized to the man in front of him, who just waves a hand and says, knowing the penchant some of those, two of those four have for danger, may I presume these are the men you spoke of?
Hmm.
And then the eye says, I would assume so. It seems you know each other.
He was our first interrogator we were assigned to.
Yes, Interrogator Locke was just informing me of how they came down here to aid the military officers and found themselves in empty battlefields. Judging by who is with you, I would assume it has something to do with you.
Hmm. We do have the one that is responsible.
and pushes Harrow forward.
Locke actually looks at him with a sneering glare and says, Locke, Harrow, you cowardly traitor. I should have guessed from the very beginning that you were rotten from as much on the outside as you were on the inside.
Gurgle, gurgle, squirk, squirk.
You can see Locke kind of fixes his uniform in an attempt to regain composure. And the eye walks forward. and taking out his little short sword, he raises Haru's chin up to look at him, which is very high up, by the way.
Well, the thing is, what chin?
Yeah, watch it.
His jaw. It's not his teeth. His upper teeth.
It's still wired there, like, you know.
He pulls his face up by his teeth.
It's more of a gesture than an actual pull. And then he looks down at Haru and says, Your territoris extremis. Do you know what that means? Nod. Haru nods slowly. Do you know the fate of traitors? Haru nods. Normally, your fate would be death. But you have plotted and turned and caused so much damage to the throne's glory that simple death cannot do. No.
Make him subject to listen to my little Aquarius friendship and Pyramus friendship.
You, for the first time, see fear in Haru's eyes as the eye literally almost pounces on him, holding one of his eyebrows up with his thumb, while holding his skull in his hand, and says, I will surrender you to the Sisterhood of Silence. You will be subjected to torture that will equivalent the level of scrutiny and interrogation that we have to perform on your little inquisition after what you've done. I will put as many interrogators and cultists to the sword until I have found everyone who ever conspired with you.
Maximus side glances at Locke.
And when I am done, you will be servitorized and made to serve the throne eternally. Or until your parts give way and the Emperor comes for you. You think cavorting with demons has showed you what true terror is like. You know nothing, little man. And then he just throws him to the floor and sees the Misericordia. It's quite terrifying to see a Custodes threaten somebody.
I can take him.
No.
Tabletop, I can't.
I mean, you have basically the same stats in tabletop.
Basically, yes. Just
Yeah.
a different weapon skill.
Yeah. 2+, 5+, you know.
Yeah, the difference is just like, I'll survive it.
Luck cannot be measured. Remember that.
Well, I did survive a greater demon prince, so...
Actually, fun fact, apparently those are lower on the Wrath and Glory scale than Custodes.
Huh.
Because I really puts Custodes into perspective.
Yeah, it's actually funny that how low-ranking demon princes are, actually. Funny enough, ironically, they're actually lower than actually the demons themselves. The demons just respect out of it because it's pity.
I mean, to be fair, Haru was using a Great Eye Demon stat block, but still, Custodes is...
It just slap that
Custodes
man.
are on a different scale.
Yeah, just like, I have now grown myself in ultimate power, growing in size, growing wings, because then you just come to slap them in the face and you just Turns to a little man crying on the floor and just like, you stay where you are, you little man. Just like this.
I'm just gonna say this: the non-official supplement for Wrath and Glory essentially lists Assassinorum agents and Custodes as a hypothetical tier 6, even though it puts them at tier 5.
Yep.
So yeah, living legends. Anyway, so the eye looks up at the four of you and says, "You have performed your duties well. The throne releases you of your obligations. I will see that you are all returned to where you are needed. However, this one shall stay by my side for a time. There is much to glean from his knowledge."
If you're talking about Harold, you can keep him.
Yes.
Oh, sorry, my lord.
His memories will serve to undo the evil he has visited upon the Emperor. I will leave no part of his little brain unscourged for all the crimes he has committed. And once I'm done, Maddox and I will have a word. The Inquisition has failed us this day.
What is Locke's expression to this?
Locke doesn't appear surprised. You can guess that this is what they were discussing beforehand.
So I guess Locke is just like, I already know I'm in the can, so just like, why not?
Locke knows that he has. Also, Locke knows that he has nothing to fear because when Harrow was conspiring, he was shooting frogs.
Yeah. And Maximus Epilogue.
Yes. Speaking of, I had this prepared just for you. Locke actually walks up to you and says, "Well, since your current boss appears to be a little busy with his prisoner," as the eye basically starts hauling Harrow away.
Not
Something
holding
at
him,
least
he's
you're
just
beauty.
carrying him away by one hand.
He's not even really touching him, it's just Harrow defeatedly walks with him because, like,
You follow me
What
or
the-
else.
what is he gonna do? Like, seriously.
He can't outrun a Custodes.
He
Those
can't
long legs.
He can't outfathom a Custodes.
Yeah, or even outwit.
Outfathom is a little bit further than at wit, but okay.
Well, trying to sneak his way out of it.
So yeah, Locke says, "Well, I don't have the appropriate things on me to do this right now. However," he reaches into one of his pouches that you see some Aquillas in, and he closes the pouch and hands it to you, Maximo. "I'm thinking you're gonna need some new epaulets."
Maximo looks at his current epaulets and just like, I do need to get myself some new, refreshed uniform. It is a bit tattered, and I've been too far long from a tailor. Thank you, Locke. Would you like to go get some bread with us?
"Oh, I'm afraid I have a lot of work to do. Lord Maddox has appointed me in charge of hunting down those who have been less than faithful."
Well, it could be one of these days. Just don't be a loaf. Maximo just snickers a little bit from his little.
"Very well, I'll try to make time when I find it. I am, after all this whole Harrow hullabaloo, I've suddenly been put on the lead for the title of Inquisitor."
And I believe I got the bread from Perindor Beta, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, it's gone a bit moldy by now.
Well, no, not the
It's
freighter I
been-
currently
it's been a
have.
month
I
and
just like
something.
go to the bake shop back at Perry and Dorbetta.
Oh, right.
Yeah, you know.
No,
I
wait,
could still...
the bake shop was in Amin's Bastion, which is no longer with us.
No, I thought Perry and Dorbetta was where Hero first betrayed us. Because
Yeah,
he was about to
first.
interrogate us.
The bread scene was in Amin's Bastion, though.
Because we knew we were going to be interrogated by Hero back then. So Maximo decided to use the bread. to help us
Alright,
with his
you're
line.
right, when you found out about the Scions.
Yeah, the Scions.
Yeah, no, you know what? You're right, yeah.
I have it on my notes here. Buried on bed. I got bread from. Castle and Rex is where we found Locke, or where we met Locke.
Yes.
Maximo think you dumb, but he's
Also,
not stupid.
speaking of, one thing his art doesn't reflect is that Locke then looks at you, Lucas, and points at your leg, and then says, "Oh, they got me something similar," and then he points to his. After he got absolutely devastated by the stalker.
Yeah, the Cameline beast. Does Lucas still have the cloak?
Yeah.
Yes.
He wouldn't have gotten rid of it. He still has it.
Well, I heard that the rogue trader is now working with another one of the interrogators.
Wasn't he the one who brought you here?
Oh, I arrived on our own vessel.
Oh,
Technically, I'm not here right now. None of Lord Maddox's retinue, aside from the man himself, know that I'm here. Part of being in charge of finding the traitors.
so you don't exist? But wait, I got some runs from you.
Currently speaking, I am in a med bay recovering. For anyone that cares.
Maximo's confused.
In other words, you are currently going against doctor's orders for bed rest.
No. In other words, the Inquisition has put a very convenient look-alike in a bed, while I am in charge of finding who betrayed us, aside from the main one. Yes. However, this is all, as you may understand, extremely secret.
Oh, if that's the case you are hunting, I think I have something for you in return. I never really found time to use them appropriately. Maximo will go into his little pack in the side and pulls out his Dragonfire ammunition, his 2 bolt rounds. It's like, I don't have use of these. Maybe you can use them. Burn the heretic.
These are exceptionally rare.
I have no use for them.
Very well. I shall try to make good use of these.
Good hunting,
I'll-
Locke.
Oh yes. Also, as per your, well, dare I say, supervisor's, overseer's request? I don't exactly know what to refer to him as. He's an aberration even to me.
Well, you can refer him to the Eye. That's how he likes to be called.
Well, that's awfully poignant. Well,
It's the only thing you get to see in the darkness when he stares at you.
well, the Eye, as you call him, has informed me that you're going to be heading out of this whole operation for now.
Some of us discharged, others reassigned.
Yes, and he has, and knowing that my position is that of scrutinizing against Haru's plans, he has tasked me with seeing you to the appropriate vessels that are going to take you back to the Void Port, so that you may depart for your endeavors, whatever those may be. Unless there is something more to discuss, I would presume that it is time we put all this behind us. Well, at least you do.
We do have matters to attend to. There is still work to be done.
I am fairly certain there is. Shall we?
Maximo turned to the other lads and just like, are we ready to continue this? Any final words before we go our ways? It is good fighting with you lads. Especially with you, Locus. You survived so long.
Well, it was fun while it lasted.
Well, depending on your choice, you could still have fun. I heard there's some pair of pleasure wells, or vacation worlds, I think. Agri world.
Arriba,
no.
Jamaica, yeah, I wanna.
Space Jamaica. Or go to Space Australia.
No,
No one wants to go to Space Australia.
I want to go to Space Australia.
It's,
No one
don't
wants to
say
go to
it's
Space
inside
Australia.
the Gold Stars.
You do not talk about Space Brazil.
Space Australia is in the middle of the Gold Stars.
Any parting words before you all start heading out?
It is good working with you, dogs. Despite my aspirations of being a minor tech adept. I did survive some. Yes.
Doctor starts coming. I
don't
don't know
if you
what
should
you
feel
did to deal with the technical advances, but it's good to see you're still there.
He's still going off the pride when he actually fixed the radio by himself without help.
What about the rest of you? Any parting words?
I believe Lucas is a strong silent type.
Yes.
Maybe he's crying inside the mask and he just has it muted so he can't hear it.
Lucas,
No.
roll me a willpower test to see if you hide the tears behind the mask.
I'm not crying because of this is sad. I'm crying because of the pain in my leg is still there, the phantom pain. It's not because of you, it's because of the leg.
No, Lucas isn't crying. He's just mainly just thinking of what to say, and in this case, it's just good luck to each of your endeavors. Next time we see each other, I pray it's on a battlefield.
Well, don't lose any more limbs, okay? You only have but the one left.
Oh, he will definitely lose a couple of more.
No, he only has one left. Multiple.
Well, you know, more legs, other arm, maybe an eye or two, who knows?
Maximo shrugs, but don't lose any more limbs. And you, Muldoon, sparky you are. Weird in sometimes, but reliable. Went to a birdie once and just like really confused Maximo.
I do.
But no longer birdie, so I most likely woke up from bad dream.
Who knows? Maybe I get my wings back.
I will consider consuming a Red Bull. I heard they give wings. But this sounds like Odomalia's superstition.
Don't know that concoction, but maybe I will.
Any words on Dox's end then?
Beep boop.
Can't really think of anything what Docs would say.
Of all the calculations, I thought we would all die in this thing. But you all equaled out to more than 0.
He's no longer a Lex mechanic.
Well, you can still, calculate. He's a numbers guy.
Nah, you unlearn month to learn servitors. It's how it works.
The docs uses identify weakness on all of us.
Identify weakness, feelings.
Even worse, he pulls out his secret toaster and presents toast. Maximo is happy. And it's like, how do you have this? Every mechanic gets to have his little toaster.
Yeah, that could be taken out of context very quickly. Thank you.
Of course, it's a common misconception.
I mean, dogs could just live with a little praise of the Cult Mechanicus.
You can just always just give us a little servitor in the later in life, just like, good job, here you go. Have a cherub. And it's like, what am I supposed to do with this? It's a baby with wings.
We made you a toilet servitor out of Harrow. Enjoy.
Oh no! So he can finally experience the Nurgle's blessing.
Oh no, and he will going to come.
Ogren's strength toffee coming right up.
And
Oh no.
the eye says he'll give him worse than death for Haro. Didn't expect that.
He said he was going to have a crappy
worse than being
existence.
turned into a toilet. Trust me, there's worse out there.
So this hero's become skibidi and will now have a crappy existence. Ugh, gross.
Turn him into a bidet.
Oh no.
Anyway, before
wish
this
you
gets
a
any more
bidet.
cursed.
Oh.
Before this gets any more cursed.
Yes, indeed.
If we have nothing more to say, the four of you begin getting escorted by Locke to the vessels that will take you to wherever you are to go after this. It's months later that the news arrived that the entire investigation has been essentially turned the entirety of Maddox's retinue inside out. And, you know, some were discarded, some were not. But Maddox and his people will stay under the scrutiny of their peers for the remainder of their careers. Naturally. The stain of heresy is never lost. Slowly but surely, the Silver Skulls Space Marines managed to take the entirety of Periandor.
Oh. The Silver Skulls, huh?
Well, yes, they were the ones who arrived to help Nometri. As sworn enemies of the Space Marines you were fighting, actually.
Oh.
Yes. And surely enough, with the aid of the Mordian Iron Guard afterwards, eventually the planets of Periandor system return to their stability.
Ooh, get your butt out of my face.
There we go. The entirety of the system mourned the loss of Hammon's Bastion when they finally had the opportunity to do so. And the monument was erected in Aquila's Hope, commemorating the battles of Periandor and the loss of Hammon's Bastion. This monument was built where once the estate that housed Harrow's final days was. In the ruins of a throne room now lies a glorious statue to the martyrs of the war for Periandor. House Atlas was restored to its former glory, with her status being ultimately not diminished by the betrayal of one of its scions. However, Old Troyan never recovered from the injuries it received in battle, and so its pilot was left knightless. It is still a great mystery to many who fought on the battle of the day as to who brought them aid. The Silver Skulls were adamant that they did not have any forces on the planet when the warp incursion occurred. However, the Inquisition likes to weave the story as if they did, and they were simply not aware of this force existing there. Inquisitor Maddox took Jax's spear away from Periandor and proceeded to go on to his next investigation. And a year after the events that changed the fate of the war forever, I'm gonna have to lower it a little. Our four heroes had now claimed new lives for themselves, already inserting themselves in positions suited to how they wish to live their lives. Starting with Dox 404. As the latest member of the HellCrashers team, and the first to be given the spotlight of this epilogue. Dox, you have returned to your home Forge world, which, if I recall correctly, would happen to be Agrippina.
Yep.
Upon returning there, you assumed a role within the Cult Mechanicus. What would that have been?
I forgot what it was. Believing it was dealing with the data for the Mechanicus.
Yes. Dox returned to being a Lex mechanic, but this time instead of running calculations and strategic prognostications for the Inquisition, he instead opted for the important but humbler role of being a keeper of knowledge, a librarian, and a scriptor. Dox, you find yourself approached by one of the Technomats, one of the lower members of the Cult Mechanicus, laymen who understand the basics of the mysteries of the Machine God and tend to lend to basic procedures that the cult requires them to. He brings you a data slate and very reverently hands it over to you. Magos Dox, I have these documents for you. The Dominus says that he would like you to archive all files deemed important to the Cult Mechanicus and clean the slate for further usage in the future.
Very well. Yes, Dox will check with the data and archive it.
You barely have to give the command. The servitor units and other members of the cult who you now ordinate proceed to move at your own whim. All you have to do is stand behind a great podium and make sure the order of operations remains undisturbed. And undisturbed it does. For with you at the helm, the library has never been this quiet. There is a sense of joy in peaceful duty. And it's fair to say that Dox has seen enough non-peaceful duty for now. Wouldn't you agree?
Until the time calls for it.
Mm-hmm. However, should the need ever arise for you to take up arms, you are not without your trusty Omnissiah axe and your faithful servitors by your side. The days that shaped the world around you, or maybe past. But the data chip burning inside your mind, and the memories of everything that happened during that time is not something easily scrubbed away from any data storage. Congratulations, Docs, you made it to the end.
Hooray.
Next up, Muldoon.
Hello.
Muldoon, you have begun a career as a witchfinder, a psyker working for the Sisterhood of Silence as an officer in one of their black ships.
You know, if you can't beat them, join them.
Precisely. Your experience in dealing with heresy has made this job seem surprisingly easy by comparison. It is far from it, however. Psychers are rarely ones to come politely. Often there's those that will break away from a line. Often there's those who will succeed at hiding after they break away. But no mind can hide long enough from your psychic powers. Though you may be wingless now, and though you may no longer move at speeds that defy human nature, your mind has undergone great changes without buckling. And it is without a doubt that you easily are one of the most terrifying things the pair of yours that do not obey the Emperor may come face to face with. As another batch of Psychers enters one of the vessels that will take them to a black ship, one of the enforcers turns to you and says, "Good work, brother Witchfinder, sir. I'm not sure we'd have found that escaping without you."
For the Emperor, and we're just doing his work. Like
Yes,
always with us.
Yes, indeed, sir. I must, He excused himself. Not a lot of them find themselves comfortable around you.
Eh,
And as he does, you hear a voice go, "Well, he's got a stick up his ass," coming from your shoulder.
No, he's just, like used to the Ikers and all. Not like the others. As I remember back to the good old days with those other three who are just, don't care about the Psyker stuff and we just killed heretics.
Yes, as you look at the vast expanse of a civilized world before you, with a vessel taking off, you're all too aware that soon enough your vessel will come to pick you up. Not one that goes with the other Psychers, because their vessels are meant to, dampen their powers. And you're left there to contemplate and possibly discuss about events with your last remaining physical memory of the events that transpired still very much alive upon your shoulder.
A literal chip on my shoulder. Fantastic.
And with that, Muldoon, congratulations, you survived.
Yay!
Moving up next, we'll have a much humbler ending of a story. Maximo, It's been another hard day of work at the fields in Vostoria. Just tilling away the soil so that new crops may grow. The last wheat harvest was great, and your first.
Mm-hmm. It's snow wheat. Would grow in tundra.
As you are preparing to lay your tools down for the day and go get yourself cleaned up and ready for a nice warm meal, you find yourself having a visitor. That being Locke, the one-eyed interrogator.
I'm surprised to see you about. How goes the hunt?
He walks up to you wearing a cloak and one of those Yusanka hats through the snow and says, "Well, I do dare say I don't know how you can live in a place like this, but I decided
Big boned.
with my part of the investigation done and dealt with, I would use a little time before I depart onto my next trip to talk about having that bread. I hear you're a farmer now."
It is the honest life where I used to be before I got conscripted long ago.
Well, a little bit too quiet for a man of your talents. I'd reckoned you would become some sort of general's bodyguard or something.
I know how to take a hit, but I don't really block it on purpose, though.
Well then.
But
Still?
if the Emperor ever needs me, he always has me number.
She knows. I'm sure she
Besides,
knows.
my loaves are almost done.
Well, I would not be unhappy to get away from this cold, if you would lead the way.
Of course. Come.
And as for the investigations, as you asked, as the two of you start working away, I can't tell you much right now, as you may understand, but things are going well.
Good.
Our old friend, and he taps under his eye, our old friend, he has things under control.
Good.
We'll soon be putting that part of Imperial history behind us, I reckon.
Maximo will also look towards his little shrine with the triptych wide open on it, with the little lights shining into it, allowing it to glisten and shine. He actually spends some time actually cleaning it out with all the rust and with a delicate touch of acids and stuff to make it all shine and polished again, especially with the assistance of the other individuals, specialists, to help even make it further shine out with the little shrine. And he's like, And he will proceed to grab a big wooden paddle and go to his large mud brick oven and actually goes in and pulls out 2 large ogre-sized loaves of bread. He puts it on.
As you do, Locke reaches into his cloak and takes out a small metal box that he hands to you. I never truly got to repay what I owed, so here you go.
Oh, those rooms were almost technically enough to pay for the Epilogue.
Oh, I'm sure you will prefer this.
Maximo will set his large loaves of bread onto the cooling rack. And he just puts the paddle down and just walks over to the box and just with delicate hands he pops up the small box that looks like 2 inches in his hands or something.
I had them custom made for the order. Never really told them why. Part of being an aspiring inquisitor now. What do you think? and as you open it, you see there is a sculpting of the Emperor holding his flaming sword downwards towards the head of a dragon on them. Like, you know, the typical like T-pose holding the sword.
Mm-hmm.
And you notice a very intricate carving that looks almost miniature to your eye, where on the face of the Emperor they have sculpted a little mustache.
Good. I was about to ask. The glorious mustache. These are beautiful. You have done well, Locke. You are a good friend.
Well, I'll keep our friendship in mind if I ever need an Ogrin by my side.
Of course.
Emperor protect I want.
Well, if you find yourself hunting some big beasties,
Right now, the only big beast in my mind, Maximo, is at the loaf. How about it?
of course, Maximo will go into his knife rack and he pulls out a huge bread knife that looks like almost like a bone saw. And just like
It is
the
a
little
bonus.
people, the little people are scared when I pick it up, but I'm not going to cut them. It's good for bread. That's it.
And as you begin slicing up your bread for
Would you
Locke,
like fresh churned butter, or would you like some meat slabs?
why not both? And as Maximo prepares an unforgettable luncheon,
It's more of a meal for him before just a quick meal for me.
Yes.
Just like, God damn, this sandwich is huge, and just like, oh, this is small for me.
he's making the world's greatest butterbread. And with that, congratulations, Maximo, you survived.
Yep, it's hard to kill Maximo.
The way you said meat slabs sounded like slaps. Like you just pull out a piece of meat and start slapping the bread with it.
I said meat slab.
I know, but it sounded like slap, like you were slapping them.
Well, you can still slap a slab. You know, it's a big chunk of meat. You know, like a steak.
Alright. Lastly, we have one last member of the crew here. As we look towards one of the war wagons of the Death Course, now following a convoy towards one of the trench lines, we overhear the conversation between two of the men on the front of the vehicle. Did you hear about our job? No? What is it? Well, it seems we are having the glorious duty of escorting the new Marshal. Oh, really? Do you think you'll get along with the Lord Marshal? Well, nobody gets along with the Lord Marshal. But from what the lads say of that guy, he just might. They say he's cold as an icicle, and on top of that,
He has a leg up.
doesn't miss. He doesn't miss. What is that? Some sort of commissar embellishment? No. But they do say you can take a heretic from a mile away. Sounds like he's going to be a lot of work for the regiment. Oh yeah. Just don't speak too loud. He is in the back of the vehicle. Well, can't wait to see him in war. That's where it will really count. Oh, pipe down, we're almost there. As the vehicle comes to a stop, one of the sergeants of an Krieg engineering squad goes and opens the door, while his men keep an eye out for any ambush, essentially. at any given time. And as a metal foot steps out of the Panzerwagen, followed by a long officer's trench coat leading up to some very fine medals, and then a mask with a skull and a marshal's hat with a big plume. The engineer sergeant greets you with a salute and says, "Welcome to the 301st Marshal Viker."
Indeed. Where is the Lord Marshal?
The Lord Marshal will see you shortly, sir. A team is waiting for you to be escorted there.
Very well. Let's get. Once everything's ready, let us move with absolute haste.
Yes, sir. As you move with a clanking of your feet, you notice the men looking at you as you pass by the trench line. A lot of them seem like the Lucas of old. Certain in the conviction despite their fear, and are ready to act. As you arrive to see your escort, you see 5 soldiers wearing metal breastplates and having sabers around their belt waiting for you. You would know these as Death Riders, except without their steeds right now. And as you approach, they look at you and they all salute and say, "Greetings, Lord Marshal. Sir, greetings, Marshal Viker. We're here to take you to the Lord Marshal. We are the escort sent by him."
Very well. Very well. Let us get to move on. Best not to waste time.
Well, sir, before we depart, it is important to ask of you, have I ever ridden one of the mounts?
Once. It's been a while since I had to ride one, I will admit.
Well, don't worry, sir. We are veterans among our units. We will escort you there safely. Just mind the beast can be a little temperate.
Hop in our Panzer wagon, and it's just an extra red wagon. Next to the horse.
And
Remember, their temperament is one to witness.
And Marshal Viker, if you would, can you make me one last pilot test?
Oh boy.
No.
Complication.
You just want the complication.
The last roll
Yes.
for the game.
The last
But he
roll
had
of the
5
session. I
gods
want to
of
know the
crabs,
complication. So close.
7.
So close. We have to reroll that.
No, she got it. It's fine.
Hard.
Marshal, you mount the steed, and with a resolute conviction, you compel it to go forward as the Death Riders begin to ride around you. En route to the Lord Marshal, you look across the trench line, and you can hear the sound of the enemies across the horizon. Battle will break by dawn. You are home again. And with that, congratulations, Lucas, you survived.
But for how long in this episode?
And at what cost?
Actually, $2.99. Actually, I was told.
We're Kriegers. What? We're gonna die eventually, but it's gonna be in battle.
Well, if you want to know what cost, I think a Death Rider Squadron is like $60.
Yeah, exactly. 4 models of 3. Yeah,
5 actually.
5. Good deal.
Yeah.
Heck, I was
And
wanting
with
to get
that-
myself an Ogre box, and it's $60 for 3, and just like, ugh. Ah.
Yeah. You're paying for Custodes. What did you think?
Just like, I want some Ogrins. Just like, no, I'm sorry, I'm not paying that much for Ogrins. I might just have to go with somewhere else.
And with that, HellCrashers, congratulations. You have all managed to make it to the end of the journey unscathed. However, there is one last order of business we haven't concluded in this campaign yet.
Oh,
Yes. Thanks for our
Roll the funny
sponsors.
die!
What?
I don't know. Just roll the funny die. I think rolling.
don't mind him. He's going loony.
Yeah, funny die.
Well, he did it.
I did it.
He did the one.
Well, now that I've rolled the funny die, let's tend to the final order of business. As in the Underhive of Periander Beta, in a secluded and abandoned looking ruin of a hub block, hiding in the shadows, jumping at every sound and looking at every corner, is the last remnants of the cult of the Enlightened Cabal. And we see a figure wearing a featureless mask of metal with an ankyla embedded on the forehead march into the hub block. As
It's
he
the
does,
one. Run.
as he does, his blue robes drag behind him, and one of the cultists greets him. Voice, you have returned to us. What are the news outside the hideout? Silence. We're doing well in our efforts. The masses have all but forgotten our intervention. Soon the Imperium will return to its regular flow, and the seeds of our deeds may be allowed to grow yet again. This is not the end, my friend. And he pats the cultist on the shoulder. Merely a new beginning. Soon enough, we will find all our soldiers, all our martyrs, all our heroes will rise again. I can assure you of that. And with the hopes of the cultists slightly raised as to the future, the voice of change steps into a dark room to rest. This room appears to be the only place that looks semi-intact from the passage of time, and appears to have an actual bed. As he removes his mask, laying it on on a haphazard desk, his hands are sweaty and trembling as his face lies in shadow. Soon. Our plan is not yet over. Soon. As a voice is heard saying, "Sooner than you may think." And a red glint appears in the corner of the room. The charismatic voice of the cult reaches for the door, but before he can do so, the red glint sparks across the room, grabbing his wrist and snapping it. He looks up at the enormous shadow. I have searched a long time for you, voice. Your sorcerer's master has shown me everything about what you are. Well, if that is true, then you would know that I am a much more useful asset to you alive than dead. That may be so. But I don't negotiate with the likes of you, Spawn. And the giant greatsword of the eye leaves its sheath as it comes hacking down, slicing a large gash at the torso of this creature known as the Voice of Change. As the creature is hurt, you see the very reality around begins to warp as its features begin to shift constantly, its hands taking the appearance of a myriad different types, unsettled on which one they should go for. And its voice distorts to a much darker one. You are cutting merely flesh. I am an immortal being of the warp. This is not over. Your emperor has already failed. You have achieved little here, servant of the Carrion Lord. What you have destroyed is merely a speck, a minuscule thing. The Chancellor has already won the great game. You all shall soon see that your rotting Imperium is doomed to fail. We have already won since a myriad eternities ago. And no longer being able to withstand the pain of its physical form, this ever-changing presence is sucked into the warp, leaving behind nothing but smoke and a trail of ash. And as the eye stands there, he cleans his blade and says, Your threat falter as does your form, demon. Be gone for now. But be sure that wherever your schemes may blossom, the Imperium shall always crush them.
We'll always call our HellCrashers.
And with that, that's our final scene.
Good job, everyone.
Yay! We did it!
Yes,
we
you survived.
Huzzah! We are
Alright.
mostly intact.
Yes, mostly.
Alright, before I give a closing speech, how about we each go around the horn and inform everyone of who we have been for all of this time. Let's start with Maximo.
Hello, I'm Maximo, also played by Mek Plays, also Burgers and Mek Feature Extraordinaire. It's been an exhilarating time of actually playing as Maximo, having the fun moments of up and down with his intelligence and stupidity, both at once, mixing, causing confusion for everyone, but also even further perplexing plots.
Yes, indeed.
It has been a joy. Especially, we got that bread.
We did indeed. Next up, we have Lucas.
This has been Art of War, voicing Lucas for the last time. Hopefully everyone has been enjoying themselves as we've been trying to keep Maximo under control with his growing bread addiction. Hopefully he doesn't start an illicit business. Keep an eye
How'd
on
you
him,
know?
really.
You're somewhere on your battlefield. How'd you know? Did Locke tell you?
No, some of my men got a hold of some people smuggling bread.
Oh,
That's all I'm gonna say.
No. No one smuggles the snow wheat bread. No. This is
All right,
special.
All right.
Oh my
flightless
god, it's
matchstick,
Lemmy all
you're
over
up.
again.
All right, flightless matchstick, your turn.
Next up, we have the flightless bird.
well, I was crazy bad. I was giving the voice of Muldoon, and yeah, I'm still upset a little bit about my wings. So yeah,
You have your little guy.
We can
don't
always
have
get you
my
replacement wings,
wings.
Muldoon. They have gem packs and jetpacks.
That's true. That's
So
true.
you can have those Mechanica style wings, just like those little jumper things do. What their names again? I forget their.
I don't remember. It's something copter.
Scourges?
Archaeocopter.
No, not the Archaeocopter, but their other ones. They have.
Oh yeah, the
jump pack-
gliders.
Yeah, the glider guys. Those guys. Have one of those on your back.
Maybe.
And he's not entirely flightless. Just have Maximo throw him.
You know who could arrange that?
we have a dogs.
For the last time, last but not least, Docs 404.
Not found.
Is she not
Error.
found?
Error.
Oh,
Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Loon, and I played for Docs 404. And for the first time joining this session and getting into the Warhammer series here and stuff, just trying my best, trying to keep up with everything and understanding how everything goes. But so far, I'm hoping that it was a good way for everyone there.
as the guy who takes extra time to make sure his decals are lore accurate, I will tell you did a great job.
Yeah, because most of the things is just like going over my head for everything. So glad I'm keeping up the character here.
Excellent. Well, and I, for one, have been Saripor. I've been your storyteller, your harrow, your interrogator, your inquisitor. I've been many, many things. However, now it is time for a little closing speech. As I would like to thank everyone who made it this far, either keeping up with the live streams or catching up into the future. Hello, VOD people. It is nice to see you. Let me know what year you're coming from. I'm sure I won't regret saying that. And as of right now, before I proceed to the more talk about the campaign stuff, natural disasters will be taking a little bit of a hiatus after running this campaign for over 2 years, and we are not exactly certain when it will return. However, be rest assured that while campaigns may take some time to return in the format and group you're used to, there will be things happening, and when they're about to happen, I guarantee you will have another beautiful, lore-friendly announcement to make in regards to what we're doing next. I would speak as to some of the projects we have inside the brainstorm. However, as of right now, I don't want to say something just in case somebody gets hopes for something and then it ends up being something else. In an ideal world, we'll see to all those projects one day, one at a time. But until then, all I can say is just wait and see. We will return.
That and the fact it's like the chaos, it's like the warp in there. There's so many ideas are just getting flung around. It's like a food fight gone wrong. Just trust me, I went in there once. I barely got out of there alive. It was not the greatest.
So that's where you lost your other limbs.
That's how he lost his finger. He got forked off.
Oof.
Damn.
And now to speak a little about the campaign. This has been a very fun game. As many disputes as I have with the system itself, due to the fact that sometimes it seems to want to be overly simplistic, while others it tries to overcomplicate itself, and it can't really decide where to go. HellCrashers has been a great campaign for me. I got inspired to start this game back in early, I think our first episode was like January 2023.
Yeah, when we were known as Hell Jumpers.
Hellfighters.
Hellfighters, yeah. Not Hell Jumpers,
Yeah.
Hellfighters.
And
Close, close.
the idea was, as you can probably guess, initially inspired by one of my most beloved games of the 40k franchise, that being Darktide. However, with the introduction of Harrow, ideas evolved, and slowly but surely what would have been a campaign of go from place to place, fight for the Inquisition until the end, took a much more complex approach. Granted, it wasn't always easy trying to keep everything going in this more mysterious and investigative narrative. And early on, it seemed fairly obvious that everybody was more geared towards combat, in the early crew at least. However, in the end of the day, here we are now, despite disputes and many issues I will still forever have with the system. We made it. And as somebody who I guess this makes well, it's certainly the second. It certainly belongs to the second handful of campaigns I get to see to the end. I will say I personally am very satisfied, and we were not really confident that doing a 40k game would be a good idea at the time, because man, 40k was not looking that hot at the time with some of the things going on. Wouldn't you agree, guys?
Mm-hmm.
It was in a state.
Yeah, back in 2023, we weren't really certain this would be a good way to go about starting a new channel. But in retrospect, considering everything, I think we made the right choice. I think we made a good call.
It's because you had Maximo.
Among many things, I will say having Maximo was an experience.
I may never have to experience Maximo again.
And I would like to give some special thanks now.
Maledictum.
I would like to give some special thanks now to some people who were never seen on the streams ever. My first very big special thanks, although this is a person who was in the stream, goes to Big Mek here for helping me out with a lot of the maps that you saw.
Mm-hmm.
Because I also run other games, and because I like my maps to be very detailed and nice, I can't always be on top of running multiple games and having everything look pretty.
Yep, if you're looking for 40k assets, you can always go to Historical Battlefields on Patreon to go get some nice Warhammer themed stuff. D-Zinger, as well on Patreon as well to get even further 40k maps and tokens. Even Lore himself actually produces assets that are high quality, almost like Forgotten Adventures for 40k as well, if you would need to go get assets for that.
They are majestic assets indeed.
Indeed, they're beautiful.
Speaking of assets, I would also like to give a shout out to a little website called Token Builder for helping us bring a lot of these tokens to life.
Yep, Historical Battlefields Token Builder. HB Token Builder.
Yep. And I would also like to give a shout out to a couple more people. One would be my great friend and one of our
Artists.
one of the best people I think we've worked with among everyone. Weird Salmon Comics,
Also known as Gazgul.
also known as Gazgul, indeed, who basically brought this little artwork to life and made these little moving things for us. Thank you. You upgrade the quality of this campaign by an amount that I initially did not think we would be going for. I would also like to give a last little shout out to another friend of mine, a man who is not known by anyone as far as I'm aware, but goes by Unholy Followers, who actually made the initial logo for HellCrashers back when it was called Hellfighters, and though we never really used that, it did serve as a catalyst for creating our current logo, which was made by me and Big Mek, essentially. But thank you for providing the initial idea and showing me how to do that fancy thing with the letters. And lastly, I've thanked the audience, I've thanked everybody we've worked with. I think lastly, I thanked the players at the beginning. Who else do I need to thank? Oh yeah, I'm gonna thank the platforms in which we streamed and uploaded these videos for never really causing us an issue as far as I remember. I don't
Thank
recall.
you for not suing us.
I don't recall the service ever shutting down on the back end. It was always one of our problems. So thanks for that, guys. It was really nice not having to deal with the same issues I've seen in so many other campaigns.
Remember,
and
Maximo was the best tech priest.
yes. Real life,
We made
yes.
squids out, thankfully.
And yeah, I think that's everything, right? Got everything?
Looks like it.
But
Did you
it
thank
smells
for
like
the
it.
bread?
Did I thank who?
The bread.
We don't
Oh
need
yeah,
to thank
and
the bread. At least we
right.
don't have to.
Lastly, I would like to thank Ara for smiting our enemies. And with that, Maximo, don't press the button this time. Just close the circuit breaker.
And also remember to do your homework, wash your dishes, pick up your socks off the floor, put your shoes in a good place, make sure you fold your laundry, and give your mother a hug. She
And
deserves
also,
it.
be nice, otherwise the eye will get you.
Or you get no presents for Emperor's Day Eve. Now we salute to you as good audience of the Imperium. We will see you next time. A new game sometime future.
Yes.
Stay in tune. We'll let you know. Maximo.